Industry Talks by ARC Advisory Group.
Hello and welcome to ARC Industry Talks, the podcast where we discuss the latest happenings in the industrial automation markets. My name is David Humphrey. I'm research director with ARC Europe, and I'm here with our European General Manager, Florian Guldner.
Hi, David.
Hi. Florian, what's been happening over the last couple of weeks in the markets?
Well, we've been to a couple of events all over Europe, and then we published a whole series of research. And unfortunately, also a war broke out. So
A lot
of things to discuss.
We'll get to that one later. Florian, you spent a lot of time analyzing ArcWire, how popular the articles are. What were the top articles, top topics of the past few weeks?
Well, the most read article was about GE Vernova, the old spin-off, written by Craig Resnick. We had an writing about the Iran war from Rita from China, and she wrote about the impact and scenarios that are possible. There's something I also curious to learn about Hexagon and Octave. So what's happening there? Is it just a rebranding? So written by Preet from the US. And we had a lot of articles that either are post-US forums or they're covering what happened in Orlando or that lead up to our European event. David, we talked about GE and prophecy before on this podcast. Give us an update. What happened?
Okay, well, GE is a big industrial conglomerate that has acquired divisions and spun other divisions off. And in its latest iteration, a while ago, it created GE Vernova, which included the Prophecy software line, and that software has now been sold. They announced the completion of the acquisition by TPG, which is an alternative asset management company, for about $600 million.
Right.
The transaction establishes Prophecy, the product software, as an independent software business serving about 20,000 customers, they claim, across pretty much all industries. Yeah, discrete, process, hybrid. It also includes things like rail and other infrastructure applications.
So, and what does the portfolio include? I know it for HMI SCADA, or is it more or?
It's kind of typical. It's a very broad-based portfolio. It starts with both cloud-based and on-premise visualization software, HMI. It includes, of course, MES, production management software, and historians. It includes industrial data management platform, analytics, and advanced production scheduling. So pretty much across the board.
How do the numbers look like for that?
Apparently, the division itself is successful.
Right.
It's more successful now that it's independent and not trying to make all those synergies with the rest of the companies, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. The software itself has been around for a long time. There's nothing new. So there's a huge established customer base, which means there's a lot of revenue coming in. And according to the information that I've come across, the division and the software product itself that has been now sold is profitable.
Okay.
Florian, it's war again in Iran. Tell us about the war and its implications.
Well, we had this one article written by Rita, who is our office leader in Shanghai. And she makes some interesting comparisons. I know it's always a bit cynical if there's a war and all we care is the industry prices and production and value chains. But so she makes a couple of comparisons with the Ukraine war as well as the 2020 COVID crisis. In my head, there was the other incident. You remember this Ever Given, where the ship basically blocks the whole channel. But she's talking about the energy impact, the oil price volatility, and obviously then the transmission and of the prices and cost pressure. She's talking about the shipping disruptions, the raw material shortages, and also what are the outlooks in terms of responses. If you look at the energy supply, we have that Hormuz Strait, so it's a 30 to 50 kilometer distance where everything has to go through of the oil and gas that is produced in the Middle East. There were plans in the past to do pipelines like the Nabucco pipeline, but they never happened. So we all depend on this strait. And we have to assume that a lot of the oil and gas, minimum from Iran and also from other countries in the Middle East, will not be available in the very short term. And the supply curve is this sort of weird S shape thing, and Iran has significant volume at a lower price. So if you would only exclude Iran from this supply curve, and oil and gas demand is very inflexible, so you cannot substitute oil and gasoline and gas very quickly.
Mhm.
We have to deal with higher prices for quite a while. And as long as the Hormuz Strait is blocked, that will just get worse. So we have to deal with higher prices and the shocks that we had in the past as well. So one comment from my side, we wrote about that. There is no resilience without electrification. All the countries that have a lot of the natural resources, think of Russia, think of the whole Middle East, US to some extent, they are not that politically stable, especially Middle East now. So if you want to have a resilient supply chain, you need to invest also in electrification. One of the forum topics we have. And the other big aspect is the shipping disruption. And apart from everything that has to go through the strait, it's very easy. You just take the long way around. So it just will longer delivery times, higher prices, because
Mhm.
longer shipping routes at higher gasoline or ship diesel costs. And then we have the raw material shortages impacting some industries. So 10% or so of the oil and gas is used as feedstock. So it's not used to
I'm
heat,
thinking like fertilizer, for example. It's not something you think of right away, but
fertilizer, plastics, lubricants, asphalt.
Mhm.
So they are not burned to propel something or
Mhm.
make something warm, but they're used as feedstock. So we'll have disruptions there as well. And this is also something, if you want to be resilient, you need to look at alternative feedstocks here as well. All right, David. So from the sad, sobering geopolitical situation that we have right now, let's go to our little industrial world back. And what news is there about Hexagon Octave? I heard these names a couple of times in
Mhm.
analyst meetings. What's going on there?
You're talking about Octave.
Yeah,
Octave is Hexagon's new planned software spinoff.
yeah.
It's a new brand identity for software as a move towards independence.
So it's a bit like the GE Vernova prophecy thing. So they're spinning off certain things of their software business, and
Exactly,
yeah,
putting things together. The
yeah,
new brand is built from several different divisions of Hexagon software, and its aim is basically to simplify complexity, like lot of software is meant to do
yeah.
today, all the way across the asset lifecycle, from design to operations.
All right. So it's the asset, it's the infrastructure and safety. These parts are now bundled together under the Octave branding, and then
Exactly.
we'll see what happens.
Florian, we've been traveling.
Yeah,
Several of us have visited events in the past month. Can you tell us about them?
yeah, sure. We travel a lot, and we're trying more to actually we try to distribute more to be more in more events rather than with a whole team of ARC Europe to be at one event. So um, Fabian and Sandra were at the Embedded World in Nuremberg, and to me, the Embedded World is always the nerdy event, right?
Hmm.
So you see teeny tiny bits and pieces, but it's the show that shows you what's possible on the edge in terms of computing, in terms of AI, and what's technically possible. So it's a bit of a nerd show, but it's really also a bit of the look in the future. A big topic there I talked with Fabian was AI on the device level. And so they're pushing that now, the edge AI topic, or however you want to call it, as well as embedded AI. So, and then another topic he was really talking quite a lot with companies was the strong competition in the industrial PC market. So we also researched it when we talk about software-defined automation, software-defined control, or on the whole framework. But there is a lot of cost pressure on these industrial PCs, which are by design interchangeable gray boxes. And we have now loads of low-cost Taiwanese as well as
Hmm.
Japanese brands that are pushing on the market. and really that are putting pressure on the big established ones, Beckhoff, Siemens, Kontron, and also Advantech, being themselves Taiwanese. Then Alex has been to the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona.
That's a
So
big show.
yeah, it's a big
Mm.
show. It's for industry, maybe not that big, but it's mobile. So it is also interesting for us to see what's going on in our neighboring markets and neighboring applications. So he was really impressed by Huawei, the company where a lot of Europeans and Americans have big problems with because they're linked to defense. But they have a strong industrial footprint next to their consumer business as well as their defense business, which they of course hide. Um, and there was a big focus also on 5G. So it was very clear without 5G, the whole autonomous thing probably will never happen. And it will certainly not happen in any of the process industry. So mining, chemicals, wherever you have big areas to cover, you need 5G. And of course, with all this, the networks get more and more complex. So what he's talking now is the network digital twin. So we have one more digital twin, as if we wouldn't have enough digital twins that are not able to talk with each other already. But this is very important because then you can monitor the latency, you can spot the weak points, you can have the dynamic rerouting and of the data flows, and you can do the stress test and the cybersecurity. So a network digital twin is something that's really important also for the industry. And I know that our end user initiative, the ODE, Open Digital Ecosystem, they are really focusing to get these digital twins to work or not to work, but to work together. So you can use the network digital twin with the process digital twin, with the everything. So that was a very important, interesting takeaway. From sunny Barcelona to a windy, rainy island, you have been to London.
I attended spontaneously the data center world in London, and I'm glad I went. For years, people ask us, what's the next biggest area for growth area for industrial automation? And for a while, it was buildings because our technology, our controllers, our networks, our software are in many ways better than building controls. But the next logical step after that is data centers.
Yeah.
Data centers because capacity is being added at a lightning pace, but also density is being increased. So the amount of storage space in one area is growing at a phenomenal
All right.
rate. So you have a linear growth, and you have close to exponential growth with if you add the density to that equation. And the show was great for me because I'm an OT guy. So if I go to an IT fair, I feel a little bit uncomfortable. But what I found
You
at this
just need to
show,
wear white sneakers and a hoodie and you're good.
the emphasis at this show was on OT things, on infrastructure. So
All right.
basically two things: HVAC, so all the heating, ventilating, air
Yeah.
conditioning, but with a strong emphasis on cooling. And
Yeah.
cooling is the coolest thing in data centers right now. The industry is going from air cooling to liquid cooling.
All
And
right.
liquid cooling involves things that you and I are comfortable with, compressors, pumps, drives, and things
Flow
like that.
meters,
Yeah, all of that.
temperature.
Yeah. And the reason is we can't get the heat fast enough out of the data centers with the new capacities being added and the new densities. So liquid cooling is all the rage.
Mm.
Companies like Schneider Electric have invested heavily in the past and even recently in companies that specialize in cooling. What I noticed at the show was that the market is still highly fragmented. There's lots and lots of small,
But
innovative
is
companies
that
with great solutions.
when you talk about that, the cooling, the energy supply, whatever, is that done by companies that are they using off-the-shelf standard automation, industrial things, or are there specialized data center applications?
No, okay, it's basically off the shelf things. So your pumps, your drives, and things like that
Yeah.
are all off the shelf. The controllers sometimes are a little bit
Yeah.
different. There are dedicated controllers that are made by companies like Siemens that are not a PLC because a PLC is general purpose. So these look like a PLC, they feel like a PLC. They cost about a fifth or a sixth of what a PLC costs, and they do one function, but they do it really well.
Yeah. All right. So this is the product point of view that you just mentioned. So we have the standard products, but is there any need for solution, a system that is put together for the data systems,
There,
and who is doing that?
there is, yeah. What I saw was a lot of single innovative solutions, and then I saw the big automation
Yeah,
suppliers, Schneider, ABB, Siemens were there, and their solutions tend to be put together piecemeal out of things they have already.
all right.
So they have the drives, they have controllers, they have software, but they're not delivering complete solutions. Schneider is further along. Schneider is
Yeah,
closer
yeah,
to a
yeah.
complete solution, and I just saw the opportunities for automation suppliers to put together a more complete solution and call it our data center
All right.
suite,
Okay.
hardware and software.
So we need to do a champions radar on data centers.
Gladly. Florian, is there anything else that's noteworthy that you want to mention?
So we published our sentiment index, our monthly survey that goes out to the automation community. That is intended to, yeah, just summarize the mood. Are we in a positive, negative phase? So it's actually good. There's no significant slump due to Ukraine or Iran, and it's on a quite high level since October. So business seems to be good. The quarterly numbers that we have access to, they also look good. So if you want to read the complete report, I'll put the link in the show notes.
Florian, thanks for the great conversation
You're
today.
welcome.
We're going to switch gears. We're going to put on a cup of coffee and we're going to do a deep dive into digital twins with a conversation between our colleagues Luciano and Alexey.
Yeah.
And please stay till the end because after that, we have another From the Plant Floor with Michelle Tugels from ExxonMobil.
Michelle will also be at our forum in Sitges in May, leading a user meeting on the open digital ecosystem and be present and also join my plenary discussion. So see you next time and hopefully also see you in Sitges.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex from ERC Advisory Group, together with Luciana, and we will discuss today the digital twin. Luciana, I see a lot of interest about digital twin, and I also know that we have some kind of fluctuation growth of that segment. What's going on there?
Yeah, indeed. We see a lot of interest growing around this topic. More and more of the people are asking about what we are doing in relation to this. Now that you mention, it is funny because through our estimations, we understand that the growth of the market for digital twin software is actually going down a little bit, especially for the industry in the oil and gas. So, what's going on? I think that there was a big hype around digital twin years ago, but then the company started to face challenges, and it was difficult to keep the value that they were expecting from this technology. So they started to put this digital twin a little bit aside.
That sounds interesting, but that I believe that even now, with the changing of the growth for digital twin, the interest for that technology
Yeah,
is so high. It's
yeah.
still. Um,
I think there are new technologies rising like AI that is helping them to overcome these challenges, and this is why the people are looking for answers.
Super. Can you probably name some challenges, some additional challenges? What kind of challenges do you see on the
Yeah,
market?
yeah. So we actually did a survey a couple of years ago, and we reached around 200, more than 200 people from the industry to understand what are their main barriers that are stopping them to implement this technology. And I will say that the main two barriers were the effort that is needed to implement digital twin and the effort that is needed to maintain the technology over time.
That sounds interesting. Luciana, I also heard that you are the part of the ARC Open Digital Twin Working Group.
Yeah.
What you are doing, guys?
Yeah. So I actually joined this group a couple of months ago. It's an open asset digital team working group. We are working together with end users. This initiative started 2 years ago, actually. So what we found is that these challenges were faced by many end users. They were investing millions in this technology, and because they couldn't maintain it updated, they were losing this money. So some of these end users they reach out to us and say, "Look, we need to do something about it." So what we decided is to create this group where we discuss these challenges and we explore the technologies that every of these leading companies are implemented to overcome them.
Yeah. You mentioned technologies.
Hmm.
What kind of technologies you are talking about? What kind of technologies, guys, you are trying to explore?
So, first of all, what we try to promote is a best practice around open asset digital twins. Yeah? So if you want to have a digital twin that it is scalable, that it is easy to implement, that is easy to maintain with time, so you get the value that you are expecting from it for long term over the years, then you need to look for open solutions that are easy to connect with each other and are easy to maintain. So we are exploring technologies around this concept. So one of the technologies that we explore with end users, for example, is the reality capture. So basically, reality capture is going to help you to make the baseline implementation. And I can relate especially to brownfield plants. So imagine you are in a refinery and you can find easily refineries that are more than 100 years ago, maybe this refinery of 50 or 20 years. So the first step will be to scan the whole plant and then to identify the equipments once you create your 3D model. So there are companies offering AI tools to accelerate this process. So a process that was usually taking months, it can actually take weeks to execute. Then they're using AI to work with PNIDs to identify the equipment, the objects that are there, and to match both the 3D model with the PNID. And then you have access to the engineering information through your 3D model of your brownfield plant. So this is one of the technologies that we were exploring with the end users and that they are actually implementing. So there is another technology that we are currently exploring with them. It's about knowledge graphs. So knowledge graphs, to put it very simple, it's the same technology that a GPS is using. It basically you need to define nodes and you need to define what is the relation with these nodes. So with a GPS is you want to go from point A to point B. Yeah. So the model behind understand that there is a connection between them and it's finding the most optimal way to go to your final destination. So what will happen if you do this with a PNID? So a PNID is basically equipment that is interconnected. So you translate this into a knowledge graph, and when you apply these models, it can help you to optimize. So it can help you to optimize a process, for example, so it can help you to with the energy efficiency of your plant. So this is very interesting technology that I found as well.
Yes, I'm absolutely impressed what you guys doing there at your group. And you just now mentioned the technology which support end users to create the model of
Mhm.
the machine, of the
Yeah.
process, doesn't matter. You also mentioned that you're working on the technology. It's basically the math model
Mhm.
of the process. But what about openness? I also think you are developing something regarding that because I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry. um, sorry. It's I get enthusiastic because I see so many opportunities there. Um, so one key enabler to get open digital twins is to work with a common language. So we are in close contact with these organizations that are developing standards for that. So one clear example is DexP, for example. And DexP is they are developing standards for exchange data exchange for process industry. That what DexP means. Yeah. And right now they are focusing on PNIDs, again with the PNIDs. But it's important. The PNID is important because it's part of the foundation of a digital twin. So what they are doing basically, they are indicating what is a standard to translate a PNID, imagine a PDF or a CAD document, into lines of code. This is how I understood it. So instead of having a document, then you have the data and the semantic data around. So you have the data and also you understand how all these objects are connected. Yeah, going back also to the knowledge graphs. So this information can be shared with different platforms. So instead of sharing the PDF or the AutoCAD with digital twin softwares, you're already sharing the information related to it. And it's much more easy to interconnect and to scale up all these solutions.
For me, it sounds like it's some kind of, English language, but for digital twin environment.
Yeah.
Sounds really great.
Yeah.
Luciana, what we can expect of the digital twin working group?
Yeah. Well, we are currently working with the second version of this best practice around reality capture. And the team, there's another working group focusing on knowledge graph. So this year we're going to publish new white papers around this. So we welcome everyone to connect with us, and we are always willing to share this information because the objective of this group is actually to promote these best practices and to push the industry. Hopefully, we can push the industry in this direction. So we're always sharing these deliverables that we develop together with companies like Shell, like Exxon, like Chevron, BP, Petrobras. They are really active on this. They really believe, I think, in our mission. And they are also open to share this information with the industry. So these are the very first deliverables that will be available soon.
I'm looking forward to have a look at the final result.
Sure.
I hope you can share it with us. Thank you so much, Luciana. It was
My
a
pleasure.
fruitful discussion.
Hey, Michelle, it was great seeing you in Namur. Just a couple of comments about digital twin. So how can digital twin help us to move through these difficult times in the industry? What do you think is the value from digital twins?
Trying to summarize the value of the digital twin is this end-to-end integrated model, where today we are having a lot of waste, a lot of inefficiencies, and also missed opportunities because our data and our systems are disconnected. And through the clutter, through the overload of individual data points or insights, we're missing to get to the real end outcome. By integrating our models, by integrating our data, we will directly get to the end point. It's a heavy load to get there because getting all of these interconnected, obviously, it's a lot of work. But we're making very good progress step by step, integrating the components where it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the data sets that are easiest to combine, as well as drive immediate value. What we're getting to is a roadmap that is, in bottom line, is self-funding. By doing the first steps, we already get value that allows us to fund the rest of the progress.
Okay, what are the challenges that the industry is facing while scaling up these solutions or maintaining the benefits of these solutions?
On the challenges, and to pick on the last one, maintaining the benefits. If we think of a digital twin as a standalone separate system, our reality is that we don't have the capacity, we don't have the budget to build and maintain that. So in order to get, the only feasible way we think of getting to that outcome is to have that integration of existing capabilities. Today, we are already building and maintaining a whole range of systems. By integrating, we will reduce the cost of maintaining those. So that is for us the holy grail, is by integrating the different capabilities, the cost to maintain them will be much, much lower than what we see today.
And you just answered the third question. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Industry Talks by ARC Advisory Group.